Geochronometry is actually the branch of stratigraphy that is aimed at quantitative measurement of geological time. Uh, Geochronometry, why we are saying that is geochronometry is quantitative measurement of geological time. It means we will involve some type of methods that will help us in construction of Earth history. So it is a branch that is specifically aiming at the quantitative measurement of geological time. In previously we were looking for different types of fossils and different types of clues that were utilized for the record of Earth history. Now we will go for different types of methods that are involved in the measurement of Earth age. It is actually a branch of geochronology, so we can study geochronometry separately in a way that it is a branch of geochronology in which we study geochronometry, and different types of geochronometric methods are involved in measurement of age of Earth. The measurement of geological time is basically a long-standing problem of geology. Uh, we are not actually studying geology, but we are studying paleontology. In with the respect of paleontology, we will specifically focus on some brief methods that are involved in geochronometry, that are involved in the measurement of age of Earth. So the major problem for the stratigrapher, or the stratigraphic major problem, was to find out the reliable method for the measurement of time. Why we are actually looking for time? We are actually utilizing different types of methods to calculate the exact time frame that is involved in the formation of Earth. That's why we are focusing on different types of quantitative methods that will be utilized for the measurement of geological time. So we can say the development of the different types of geological methods actually started from almost 18th century, and during most of the 18th and 19th century was actually the time when the development actually started. And the ideas of the geological time was indeed so controversial that the estimates for the age of Earth was encompassed by the whole range from 6,000 years to 300 million years ago. It means we can say from 18th to 19th century, that was the time that was a kind of time which involved different types of controversies. And we are actually looking for we were actually focusing on different types of methods that will be utilized, that can help us to calculate the exact age of Earth by different types of material. So we can say the present estimate, or the current estimated age of Earth, is almost about 4,500 million years ago. As you can memorize from your previous lecture that we were discussing about Precambrian and Post-Cambrian life, and when we discussed about Precambrian life, and we were actually focusing at the base of geological time scale, and we have discussed that the age of Earth was almost 4.6 billion years ago, or 4.5 million years ago. These are these all are actually the kind of recordings are this is actually the kind of data that is oldest, that lies at the base of geological time scale. So we are actually presently estimating the age of Earth almost 4,500 million years, or 4.6. These two values are bit related. The solution of the dating problem arrived only when the discovery that some of the natural elements undergo continuous decay. We are actually discussing about the quantitative methods that are involved in the measurement of age of Earth. So these methods will involve the kind of different types of dating methods that will help us to calculate the exact age of Earth. And different types of radioactive material are naturally present in different types of rocks, different types of minerals and materials. So they can help us to understand how old these materials are actually by calculation of different types of ages of different types of radioactive materials. So the first radiometric dating method was developed by Boltwood and Sturt. These were the actually two scientists who developed the method that is utilized for the recording of radioactive materials ages. Uh, So if we can say that the present at present the determination of age of Earth is not a primary scope of geochronometry anymore. We can simply say at present geochronometric methods are not focusing on the age of Earth. Um, what we are actually doing, what geochronometry is actually focusing on right now. The geochronometry is focusing on the methods that are different types of precise methods. Mo- Most of the efforts are actually aimed at obtaining the increasingly precise radiometric dating methods. At the same time, some methods are actually involved for the measurement of time that were developed. So we can say the determination of age of Earth is not the issue, not the current scenario of the geochronometry. What geochronometry is actually looking for, what is actually focus of this geochronometry is, the focus of actually geochronometry is the kind of method that will involve, that is actually helping us to understand the ages of different types of material in a way. And the measurement of age of different types of material is actually obtained by different types of material, and the most authentic source that is having different types of radioactive materials, minerals and biological material. Among them, rocks are actually considered as number one source, because these rocks will contain different types of material that will have different types of half-life. So different types of radioactive materials are actually present in different types of rocks. So the geochronometry is actually not focusing on the or not looking for the age of Earth. What this geochronometry is actually doing, this geochronometry is actually looking for different types of precise methods. When we will have different types of precise methods, these methods the methods will actually help us to determine, to calculate the ages of Earth. So we can say the measurement of age of different types of rocks, minerals and biological material is actually the focus or concerned thing that is involved in measurement of different types of ages of rock. We can say that focus of geochronometry is based mostly on lichnometry. These are lichnometry, tree rings and radiocarbon. These are three methods are actually the kind of methods that are actually the kind of indirect evidences or indirect sources that are not involving any kind of dating. That is, these are actually the kind of methods that will involve the visual search for different types of materials. Like electrometry is the kind of method in which we will go for different types of successional processes that are involved in the formation of Earth. And geochronometry will also look for the lichnometric methods that will help us the succession of different types of plants, floral and faunal succession that will help us to determine what type of plants and animals were actually present. So this is also a one source that is involved in the study of different types of materials. So the tree rings are also the evidence of different types of environmental conditions. In previous lecture we were discussed about tree rings. Tree rings are also the source of paleoproxy data. That is the data that was not the kind of data that is not scientific, but that data is actually the type of data that is helping us to understand that annual growth rings are actually formed annually each year, and they retain the imprint of different types of environmental conditions. So geochronometry also look for different types of tree rings, different types of material that are helping us to understand different types of that they actually help us to relate the age of plant as well. We can calculate age of plant by counting the tree rings. We can say annually one growth ring is formed, so we can say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6 rings are actually the depiction of 4 or 5 years of age of life. These are actually the indirect this is actually the indirect source that is helping us to understand the age of Earth. We are actually looking for the construction of Earth history. And then the radiocarbon dating method is the kind of, radiocarbon is actually the radioactive isotope of carbon. This is actually the helpful source that is formed by cosmic rays that is formed in upper atmosphere by action of cosmic rays by corrosion of different types of molecules, and this radiocarbon also get imprinted in different types of plants material. So by calculation of these, the quantitative measurement of this radiocarbon is also helping us to understand the age of earth or age of different types of material, how many materials are actually decayed. And the next method we will discuss later in our next lecture about uranium lead dating, uranium thorium. These are actually the different types of dating methods that are involved in measurement of half lives of different types of material. Then luminescence, these will involve different types of light techniques that are actually helping us to understand what actually what type of different types of material they are illuminant, or they have different types of light activities that is involved in the geochronometric method. Next, amino acid racemization. This amino acid racemization is also a method that is involved in for the calculation of age of Earth. Then paleomagnetism is also a kind of source that is helping us to understand about the age of Earth in a way that different types of the different materials actually have different types of magnetic properties, and these magnetic properties help us to understand in a way if in a geochronometry these magnetic elements actually align themselves in a way on the in the direction of different types of north and south poles. So these things are actually the concerning things in terms of geochronometry. Then potassium argon fission track dating, several dating methods are actually involved to in our understanding in a way that help us in the time scale in a way. Let's suppose this is 1, 10, 100 up to million years ago. Lichnometry is actually the type of method that is giving us a very few that is actually giving us information that is very restricted, or that is very limited in nature. And the rest of these methods that are involving the dating of different types of radioactive materials, amino acid racemization, the study of constituents of different types of biological material, the different types of magnetic materials, they are actually the useful source. In a way, they help us to understand how old all these materials are actually, that can be organic or inorganic material. So we can have an idea about the accurate estimates of age of Earth. That is almost 4.6 million years ago or 4.5 billion years ago. These values are actually calculated via all these method. So we can say uh, the focus of geochronometry is on different types of biological material and different types of inorganic materials and different types of minerals and different types of biological material and different types of rocks are actually the source that are helping us to understand the age of Earth. Next, what are actually the different types of nuclear and radiation effects? The radiometric dating method is actually the kind of method that is based on the radiocarbon and cosmogenic radionuclides. These nuclear radiation effects are helping us via two ways. The number one is actually the radiometric dating method is based on the radiocarbon and cosmogenic radionuclides, and the parent and daughter isotopes ratios, that is involving different types of radiometric dating method like potassium argon, radioactive disequilibrium in uranium, thorium, lead. These all are actually the type of dating methods that are helping us to understand the decay of different types of elements. And the next method that is involved in nuclear and radiation effect is dating, that is based on the accumulation of radiation effects. And the accumulation of the radiation defects that are actually involved, the fission tracks, thermoluminescence, and optical methods, and electron spin resonance method. These are actually the highly sensitive and highly sophisticated methods that are involved in the measurement of ages of different types of material. And as we have discussed about paleomagnetism in a previous slide, that magnetic effects are also helping us to they are also important source or important tool of geochronometry in a way that paleomagnetism is also serving us to understand the the history of Earth in a way that different types of magnetic effects that is that we are actually saying that these magnetic bearing elements actually align themselves in different types of pole like north and south pole, so they are also important source of geochronometric. And then the third thing that is involved in this process is different types of chemical reactions. Chemical reactions being the clock, the dating that is actually based on uh, chemical reaction is obsidian hydration, then amino acid racemization and metal corrosion. All these methods are actually the kind of method that will involve different types of obsidian is a type of rock, and these minerals these rocks material will contain different types of minerals, and all they are actually helping us in a way. Different types of chemical reactions are actually happening, and we are actually looking for the accurate estimates of age of earth. So these chemical reactions also help us to understand the chemical reactions that are happen that are involving in during the past environments, past climatic conditions. So they also help us to understand to calculate the age of earth. They are also important geochronometric methods. Next, biological effects. Biological effects, these are actually the types of methods, the dating methods that are based on the biological markers, the mutation rates. These are also helpful in a way that different types of biological or biochemical factors are involved in the formation of earth. So we can say we are actually looking for the earth history reconstruction. So we will look for maximum data that can help us to reconstruct the past environment or past climatic conditions. So scientists actually perform different types of activities, different types of experimental conditions are actually provided in different types of labs. Different types of controlled experiments are carried out in different types of labs. They all help us to understand under what conditions, under what types of biochemical processes or different types of chemical processes or different types of decay methods the earth is actually formed, and how old these materials are and how they are actually helping us to understand the earth history. And different types of dating methods are actually involved, and we will discuss only few. The all radiometric dating methods, all these methods are actually based on the radioactive decay of the different types of material. The concern, the focus of the geochronometry is on different types of radiometric dating methods. The principle at the base of the radiometric dating method is actually the natural unstable isotopes. What this geochronometry is actually focusing on, this geochronometry is focusing on the radiometric dating method of different types of naturally unstable isotopes. In nature, different types of material are existence that are that are naturally unstable. So they decay. When they decay, they form different types of products. So we can say the principle of the radiometric dating method is actually relying on focusing on naturally occurring unstable isotopes, and these isotopes are actually called as parent isotopes. These parent isotopes will definitely decay into some other isotopes that will be called as daughter isotopes. So we can say the focus of chronometric method is mainly concentrated on different types of dating methods, and these dating methods are having the kind of unstable isotopes, and these unstable isotopes that we are called as parent isotopes. And when these parent isotopes will decay, they will form different types of stable products that are actually called as daughter isotopes. So these daughter isotopes are helping us to understand the age of different types of material. So the initial amount of the parent and daughter isotopes can be estimated, and after the geological material formed, the parent and daughter isotopes did not escape the system, and the age of the material can be obtained from the measurement of isotopic concentration through the laws of radioactive decay. Uh, So we can say that the material that is actually having different types of radioactive isotopes, all these materials, these products actually get entrapped in that structure. So the initial amount of data isotope can be estimated in a way. Let's suppose it can be 100, and then after some time it can be reduced to half, that is 50, then 25, and the different materials actually possess different types of half lives. We will discuss in our lectures where we will discuss about in next lectures where we will discuss about uranium lead dating and radiocarbon dating. And the geological material that are actually formed by different types of these radiogenic activities, they did not escape the different types of system. They actually stay in the material, and we calculate the amount of these different types of materials that is actually helping us to understand the age of different types of material via different types of calculations. Next method that is involved in geochronometry is the incremental dating. Incremental dating is actually the type of method that is actually based on the building of incremental chronologies from the point of known age which is usually present. As we have discussed in previous slides that we are looking for age of earth, and at present the focus, the concern of this geochronometry is not on the different types of methods, but not on the different types of materials, but different types of methods that actually help us to understand how we can actually look for more data. So the incremental dating method is the type of data that is looking for incremental chronology. We are actually looking for sequential changes from is in this incremental dating. We can simply say we can look present, and we can have assumptions about past, that the processes that are actually occurring, that are happening in present environment, they were same like uh, present in past environment. So we can say the methods that are based on the building of incremental chronologies are started from the known age. It's mean we start from present to past. And when the chronology is actually not tied with the noun age or point, it is actually called as floating chronology. Chronology is a type that is dealing with the sequential processes, that is actually studying with different types of layers. Incremental dating will involve dendrochronology. That is dendrochronology is the type of study that we are actually looking for the tree rings. Tree rings are actually these are discussed in earlier slides in and previous lectures as well. Dendrochronology is the type of method in which we are looking at present forms of different types of plants. We are actually calculating different types of tree rings that are present in different types of plants, and we can assume in past, in environment in past, uh, different types of materials are actually present. That can be a radioactive carbon, and that carbon is actually helping us. Let's suppose we select just one tree ring, and we take a sample from that ring, from that tree, and we when we calculate the value of when we will go for analysis of the radioactive carbon, that is carbon 14 in that plant material, that will give us idea about the oldest times that is actually having different composition of radioactive carbon. So we can say from present we are actually moving back toward past. That is, this is actually the incremental dating, that is the method that is involving the chronologies from present to past. Then again, lichnometry is actually that technique that is dealing with different types of successional processes that is involving different types of uh, uh, complex communities formation. So we can say from present we are moving towards past, and these incremental dating methods are helping us to understand different types of uh, these actually help us to understand the development, the understanding of processes that are actually happening, so we can have idea about how old these material are in past environment, what was the situation, what were the conditions that are actually facilitating different types of material they were surviving, and how old they are. They are also related to the uh, type of material that is actually when the lichens are actually the kind of association between fungi, so and algae, so we can have idea about different types of biological material that are associated at that time and present. Then sclerochronology is the that is a type that is associated with the study with the shells or coral skeletons. It means sclerochronology is the type that is associated with, that is actually different types of organisms that are actually having different types of skeleton. The molluscan shells and coral skeletons are actually the kind of structure that are mostly discussed in paleontology. So we are actually utilizing all these structures for the study of different types of shells and skeletons, and these shells and skeletons actually help us to understand understanding in a way a molluscan shell is actually the kind of structure that is having different types of layers, so we can have an idea about how old these shells are actually, for how long they are actually living, so we can estimate, we can calculate by, the age of different types of materials or different types of organism via looking their body structures as well. So they are also helping us, they are also important source of incremental dating in a way. From present we are moving back. Next thing that is concerned with, that is involved in incremental dating, is war chronology. War chronology is a type of technique that is dealing with the lake sediments or ice cores. Lake sediments and ice cores are actually the type of sediments that are definitely deposited within a specific time framework. So we can say the ice cores are formed uh, year to year. So the lake sediments and ice cores are also helping us in a way that we are looking for the dating methods. In simply we can say this incremental dating method is a kind of method in which we are looking the present forms of different types of organism, present status, and then we will move back and we will look for the ages of different types of material, how old they are actually. And if we generally summarize the different types of dating method that are actually helping us to find the ages of different types of material, so we can say we are actually having, we can have different types of material, different types of different types of techniques that are actually helping us to understand how old these material, how we can reconstruct the earth history, how we can find out the materials that are actually having different types of lives. So the first dating method that is of much concern, that is actually the mostly discussed topic of geochronometry, is that is radioisotope. Radioactive isotopes or radioactive materials are actually the kind of materials that actually naturally emit different types of rays. So the radioactive isotopes that will involve the measurement of cosmogenic nuclides. This means different types of nuclear materials, radioactive isotopes, radioactive materials are actually present, and when these radioactive material will decay, they will release different types of products that will be stable. So the radioactive dating method is the method that is source of geochronometric study. Next thing that is involved in this radioactive isotopic method is direct measurement of radioactive isotopes or decay products. So these radioactive isotopes isotopic measurements can be done by the direct measurement of different types of radioactive isotopes. Instead studying their decay products, we can study different types of radioactive isotopes directly, or we can study them. In most of the cases we are actually studying different types of material via decay product. By studying their half lives, these actually involve the carbon 14, that is mostly studied, that is most common concern focus, mostly focused area of geochronometric method. Then potassium argon. Then the third thing that is helping us to reconstruct the earth history, why we are actually looking for the source of, we are actually looking for all these sources in a way so we can reconstruct the earth history. Then equilibrium measurements of different types of uranium series. So these series, uranium lead dating is actually the type of method that is involving different types of minerals like monazite, hematite, radiolite. All these material actually help us to understand how these uranium radioactive material actually decay, and how they are trapped inside different types of minerals or different types of crystals. So they are also important source. Next, different types of integrated effects. That different types of integrated effects actually involve different types of fission techniques, different types of thermoluminescence techniques, and fission tracks. All these methods actually help us to understand the age of different types of material. Why the basic focus of different types of dating methods is to find the age of different types of material. And the next main point that is dealing with the geochronometry is paleomagnetic properties of different types of material. These paleomagnetic character of different types of material is actually discussed several times. So the paleomagnetic are some magnetic character bearing materials are actually the type of material that actually depict us, help us the incidence of reversal and scalar variations. These are actually the type of variations that are uh, occurring during past earth climatic conditions. We can say during different types of catastrophic events like lava flow or earthquakes, or different types of floods. Different types of materials actually align themselves into different types of orientations according to different types of environmental conditions. So they are also helping us to understand the earth history. Next, dating methods that are also helpful for us to understand the ages of different types of earth material. We can say the different types of organic material, different types of organic material, that is that we have discussed in earlier topic, that is organic method. This will involve amino acid racemization. We will go you might have a better idea if we study in terms of biochemistry, but in case of paleontology, we are actually studying different types of method, that is a chemical method that will involve the study of different types of amino acids that are having different types of uh, uh, that is actually serving as a source of dating method to calculate the age of different types of material. And the next thing that is categorized under inorganic, that is actually categorized under dating method of that is chemical, that will be inorganic. Inorganic method will involve two subtypes, that is weathering rates, that is the wearing and tearing process of different types of rocks. Mostly obsidian hydration or obsidian rocks are actually the are of much more concern in terms of dating methods. And the next inorganic method that is involved in this dating method is fingerprinting, that is tephrochronology. These fingerprinting methods are actually the type that is concerned with different types of uh, prints that are type of chemical. You can simply say these are actually the type of chemical imprints of different types of life forms. Why we want to calculate, we want to maximize the data about the old environment, so we can calculate about the age of earth. Next dating method, that is the third method that is involved in the geochronometry method, is biological method. Biological method actually involve the growth rates. Growth rates of different types of or simple we can say different types of successional processes, that is lichenometry. And the growth layers, these growth layers are actually preserved, saved in different types of plants. So dendrochronology and lichnometry are actually the type of biological sources or biological material that are helping us to understand different types of. So we can simply say the different types of dating methods that are um, helping the geochronometry or geochronology are different types of radio isotopic methods. The it means we can simply say different types of radioactive material are helping us will help us geochronometry to understand different types of material. Then different types of paleomagnetic material are different types of material that are having kind of magnetic properties. They are important source. Then chemical and biological sources, they all are actually helping us to understand the different types of processes. By studying these by applying these methods, we can actually look for the age of different types of materials. So we can make approximate estimations about age of earth, how old actually earth is, and how these materials actually are formed under different types of conditions. So if we conclude, we summarize the overall focus of these actually the dating methods, that is actually the concern or that is actually the focus of this geochronometry is that is the construction of geological time scale. Why what this geochronometry is actually doing, a major achievement that is uh, of the geochronometry is the documentation of the geological time as represented by geological time scale. Okay, we can simply say that the major achievement of geochronometry, the success of this geochronometry is the establishment of geological time scale. The geological time scale is the best source where we are actually where we are accumulating our data. In a way, we are putting all the information that is gathered via different types of ways. So geochronometry, the success of geochronometry is the establishment of geological time scale. A geological time scale is what geological time scale is. It is actually a scheme that integrates the geochronologic subdivisions of geological time and their absolute ages and durations. So geological time scale is actually a kind of scheme, a kind of kind of flow chart, a kind of data that is having information about the different types of geochronological subdivisions. So we can simply say the events that are happening, that are occurring during different types of earth history, they all are summarized, they all are piled up in a columnar in different types of columns, in different types of vertical and horizontal integrations. So we can put all this data together in a form, in a scheme that is helping us to understand the earth history. So this is the major success of this geochronometry. So the latest version of geological time scale was published in 2004 and include the comparison of the present and past time scale. It means we can update this geological time scale on the yearly basis or daily on daily basis. If we are actually doing research, different types of research activities, and we find any type of data, that data is integrated into this geological time scale. So that is actually the upgradation of uh, geological time scale. The greater efforts of the geochronometry today aimed at retrieving the accurate ages of the major events in the Earth history and the stages and the age boundaries. So we can say geochronometry. What geochronometry is actually doing today? The geochronometry is actually looking for the ages of different types of material, and the focus of this geochronometry right now is not on the age of earth, but the focus of this geochronometry is actually relying on different types of accurate methods. Why? Because when we will have some sophisticated, highly authentic different types of methods, these methods will definitely give us better data, so we can have better idea, we have better estimates about age of earth. This was all about geo